This episode is made possible by the generous support of my patrons at patreon.com/SayGoodnightKev and by viewers like you. Thanks! Hey, so if you love Divergent so much that you clicked on this video, then you might also want to click on that video, but after this review is done, which I will have a link at the end of this. Point being, I have another channel called Movie Facts, where this week I give 5 facts that you totally don't know about Divergent, even though you love it so very much. It's a pretty good episode. Check it out. It's right there. Let's get into the review. Okay, so you may be saying to yourself, Kevin, why are you reviewing Divergent? I mean, it's not... You know, I just realized that I spend a lot of my time on this show attempting to anticipate what you guys are gonna say about the show and responding to that ahead of time. Maybe I'm just trying to avoid the scrutiny against my show that I put on other films. Doesn't matter, because I'm still going to do it. And I'll start by saying, I don't only watch Christian movies, you know. What a sad existence that would be, right? Christian movies don't have a monopoly on Say Goodnight Kevin. Second, they also don't have a monopoly on cliches, bad writing, and annoying characters. And third, and probably most important of all these things I'm saying right now, this movie technically is That's right, ladies and gentlemen. If you dig deep enough into Wikipedia or you watch that amazing YouTube channel Movie Facts, then you'll know that Divergent is written by Veronica Roth, who is in fact a professing Christian. Whew, I justified it. Point being, sometimes I'm gonna review movies that are just movies. Probably gonna happen again, unless you guys hate this episode, because everything I do is dependent on you guys liking me more and more. Critiquing films is the best way to get people to like you. Plus, with the third film in this franchise coming out this week, I figured it was about time to get on board the Divergent train. If I'm gonna jump on board, then I might as well watch it with you. And so, now that you know all of that, let's get right into it. Grab your popcorn and let's get ready for the Say Movie Night Kevin episode of Divergent. So the movie begins in this field. Very exciting place to start. Well, and there's the Titanic. Then we see modern day Detroit. Oh, sorry, no, that's post-apocalypse Chicago. And then, for those of you who didn't catch that this is actually secretly a Christian film, here comes your first clue.
We're lucky to be in the city.
Voiceover.
They say the war was terrible.
And this is extremely necessary voiceover too, because how else were we gonna know that the war was terrible? I mean, if there wasn't voiceover, we would have thought that it was all peaches and cream. The voiceover explains everything that we need to know about the world we are entering into. Post-apocalypse Chicago has been split up into 5 districts. Factions.
To keep the peace.
And these 5 factions serve as the 5 essential parts of society. The overlords, the parkour overlords, the elite intellectual overlords, the overlords of the food, and the suckers. Okay, that's not their actual names. Their real names are...
Candor, erudite, amity, dauntless, abnegation.
Yeah, okay, so seriously, when I was watching this film for the first time, I had to keep a chart of these 5 factions in the corner of my screen just so I could keep up with what in the world they were talking about. It turns out the suckers were fine with calling them the suckers, right? They're the ones who run the government.
Because we're public servants, we're trusted to run the government.
So you're telling me there's the hyper-violent, the super-intellectual, the ones who control the food source, and the people who control the law, but these guys are the government in what way? I mean, what stops any of the other factions anytime the government tells them to do something from just saying, nah, it doesn't make any sense?
It all works.
Oh, sorry. My mistake. It all works because you told me it works. What was I thinking?
My faction is abnegation.
I wouldn't want to be in any of these groups.
Dedicated to helping others. We even feed the factionless.
The factionless, I think that's this world's would-be YouTubers.
My father works alongside our leader, Marcus.
Yeah, but who takes care of the waste? Like, do they have garbage men in these factions? What about commerce? How does it all get taken?
It all works.
Oh, sorry, I forgot about that.
Everyone knows where they belong, except for me.
Oh, yes, everyone except anyone who would want to be creative or an artist or a salesman. But of course, you're the most important because the movie's about you.
My mother says there's an art to losing yourself.
Of course, I don't know what art is because we don't have that in our society.
I'm supposed to never think of myself.
Okay, is this whole movie just gonna be her reading me the book? This movie brought to you by Audible.
Were you nervous?
Who are you?
I was terrified. But I didn't have any reason to be, and neither do you.
All right, so Katniss here is about to take the test to find out which faction she's supposed to be in. I don't know why I'm telling you this. She says it all in her perpetual inner monologue.
Today, I take the test. I'm scared it'll tell me that I have to leave my family, but I'm even more scared that it'll tell me to stay.
Oh, in come the Foot Clan. Now, those kids are cool. I don't know how they keep up the energy. They must all be drinking Red Bull or doing cocaine or both. And now we learn that the entire inner monologue was unnecessary because this teacher lady explains everything to us. Come on, movie. I mean, can't you at least make us think we're figuring it all out on our own? It would make the film a lot more interesting. Now we jump to her test. I don't really understand this. I don't know if it's like a computer or magic, I think.
95% get the faction of their origin, and from the looks of you.
Ha!
Bottoms up.
She's gone! I thought this was a really impressive shot, because I don't know where the camera is. How do they do it? What, do they using computers or something?
Choose.
You must choose.
Aw, doggy. Not the dog! And it was all just a dream.
Get up.
Get up, Babby. But the test is broken, it turns out.
Your results were inconclusive. They call it Divergent.
Hey, that's the name of the movie.
You can't tell anyone about this, not even your parents.
What about my dog?
This was supposed to tell me what faction to choose, the test. We're supposed to trust the test.
Didn't work on you.
I once had to take an aptitude test in high school, and this same exact thing happened to me. I feel like this whole system would collapse in like 2 days. I know the argument is like, well, there was a war, so people changed, all right? But even with a war, would people really go along with this kind of thing?
It all works.
Right. Sorry. So the next day, she goes to the choosing ceremony where she has to figure out what in the world she's gonna do with the rest of her life. But first, let's meet the obvious bad guy of the movie.
We need to find out who's behind these rumors.
I think we all know who it is.
These are your children. I don't think I knew they were choosing today.
That's not supposed to be a choice.
You're still free to choose.
But you don't really want that.
Whoa, where did that sass come from?
I want you to choose wisely,
But choose wisely.
and I know you will.
So you're telling me that this one girl is the first person to ever point out the fact that this whole you only have 5 choices in life thing is a little strange? Maybe whenever your children are being left homeless because faction before blood. There's so much explanation for things that we don't need to know about, but there's not enough explanation for stuff that we probably should know about.
It all works.
You're right. Thank you, Katniss.
Faction before blood.
And may the odds be ever in your favor.
So now they make these kids cut their hand and sprinkle blood, something, I don't know, weird. They're all using the same knife? What is this world? This is insanity and unsanitary. Look, kids, public service announcement real quick. If you're ever in a situation where there's a group of people gathered around you in a room, pushing you to cut yourself and shed your blood, don't cut yourself and shed your blood. But now it's Beatrice's turn to make that choice. Jeez, that's a deep cut for one drop of blood. But then she chooses the cool kids.
Not really interested in being like the cool kids. Like the cool kids.
Bye, Mom and Dad, forever. Get ready to run for your entire life. Who are these kids? When I wake up, well, you know I'm gonna be the one who wakes up next to you. So the whole crowd has to get up on this train, and Beatrice makes it. Whew. Oh, here's a fun fact. This is Lenny Kravitz's daughter. He was a singer/rocker in the early 2000s, later becoming an actor. You may have seen him recently in the film Hunger Games. And that's just a little taste of the type of cool stuff you'll get if you check out my other channel, youtube.com/moviefacts.
Get ready.
For what? Turns out they have to jump off the train onto the top of this building. Oh, what happens if they don't jump?
What do you think? We'll be factionless.
Best friends!
I'm Eric. I'm one of your leaders.
I'm also Macklemore.
And if you don't have the guts to jump, then you don't belong in Dauntless. Someone's got to go first. Who's it going to be?
So, I'm gonna go? Probably start my own society with the factionless or something. This one's pretty stupid. That's all right with you? Gonna just get out of here.
Me.
You? Oops. Boing. Move, maybe? Oh, hello.
What's your name?
My name's Tris.
Welcome to Dauntless.
And so now her name is Triss. I'm still gonna call her Cat Triss.
Follow me. You're gonna be sleeping here for the next 10 weeks.
Wow, we'll be sleeping for 10 weeks? Well, this doesn't sound as bad as I thought.
Girls or boys?
Both.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Boys and girls in the same quarters? This may be the apocalypse, but we're not barbarians.
If you like this, you're gonna love the bathroom.
Then we get this inspirational pep talk from this guy.
And the courage that drives one person to stand up for another.
Have the courage to stand up for your crappy society.
Do us proud.
Or whatever. Guys, if America ever gets to this point, stop America-ing.
I want everyone in the pit. 2 minutes.
Let's open up this pit! Oh!
After initiations, rankings will determine what jobs you move into.
So the new recruits begin training.
At the end of each stage of training, the lowest ranking initiates will be leaving us. You live factionless.
Wow, so it turns out this Macklemore guy, he's kind of a jerk.
So if you're really one of us, it won't matter to you that you might fail. Right? You chose us.
You chose poorly.
You ready for some real fighting?
Not even close.
First jumper in the ring. Last jumper. Time to fight.
Where are the grown-ups in all of this? So she loses the fight.
Still in the red by the end of the first stage. You're out.
I'm never gonna make it.
If they cut me, I think my parents would take me back.
Even if they wanted to, their faction wouldn't allow it.
So then they all get tattoos. So wait, which faction is the tattoo artist in? They have like running around all the time and tattoo artists? Turns out the tattoo artist is the woman who gave her the aptitude test, so she tries to get some information out of her, but she's quite reluctant.
No.
Remember kids, in a post-apocalyptic world, always trust your tattoo artist. Here's your Mockingjay tattoo. So Triss is inspired by the tattoo artist to become the best around. Nothing's gonna ever keep you down. You're the best around. And nothing's gonna ever keep you down. You're the best around.
You're never gonna win, not like that.
That's good to know.
Yep, you have to use your whole body.
Here, let me show you how to use your whole body. Ooh.
You need to stop? You give your hand.
Don't take that hand. Don't you dare take. Ah.
All right, let's everyone take a break.
But he's not as nice as he acts. Oh my goodness. Everything's gotten out of control. Fortunately, all her friends are there to help her out.
Dauntless, never give up.
Things are getting a little tense. I think it's time for a field trip.
As Dauntless, we fight to protect every life inside the fence without fail.
So then they go to the wall, and Triss asks this question.
What's out there?
Let's just say they built the fence for a reason.
No, let's not just say that. Let's just answer the question. That's an important one.
We're kind of good at this.
I've been practicing. Then we get the part of the movie where they try to establish the main character as some sort of hero.
Well, go get it. Are you afraid?
We're getting stabbed by an airborne knife, yeah.
Everybody stop.
Collaborate and listen.
Stand in front of the target. You're gonna stand there while he throws those knives. And if I see you flinch, you're out.
Stop. Hammer time.
She took his place. That means it's... Oh my goodness, he cut her ear.
All right, we're done for today. Get out.
I know I've been teaching a lot of lessons here today. Here's a new one. Girls, and guys, I suppose, if someone throws knives at you, they're not the one for you. Pick a different person. Then we get this really stupid cliche thing where the bully acknowledges her respect for her.
Hey, Tris. That was cool.
Ugh.
First fight. Peter versus Triss.
But then she loses the fight. Since Triss is laid up in bed, everyone assumes that she's completely out of the race and is gonna end up factionless. But she proves them wrong. She proves them all wrong.
Who let you out?
I did.
Okay.
Well, that was intense.
The game's simple. It's like capture the flag.
Except you've heard of it. So they all go to play the game, but these two lovebirds, they've got other games to play.
Love games? That's right, love games, Greg.
By the way, you never answered that question about the fence. How about you answer it now, huh?
There it is.
Then she wins the game, which leads to this super duper awesome special effects part. Whoa! So much green screen. Congratulations, you won the approval of those losers. Then her mom shows up and gives us a little bit more vague information about what's going on.
You can't trust anyone. You don't conform. Your mind works in a million different ways. They're scared of you.
Are you thoughtless?
Listen.
Hey! But she doesn't stick around for long because the movie seems to think that mystery is just giving us little bits of information as we go at random instead of the main character actually seeking them out. So now we begin stage 2 of Dauntless training. And if you thought the Fight Club scenario that was happening in the first part of training was unbelievable, well here, they go into your dreams and try to erase your fears.
Transmitters in the serum allow me to see the images in your mind.
You can see inside my mind.
Yes, but not the fantasy part.
Now you're gonna be facing your worst fears, Tris.
Well, I don't know that I could face any fears worse than be sitting in a chair while the guy I like sees my innermost thoughts literally projected onto a computer screen, so I think I'm gonna be okay. All right, let's see what Tris's biggest fears are. Oh, I can see that. She's afraid of being mistaken as a girl on fire. Why would she get that bird tattoo if she's so afraid of birds? But then she has a sudden realization.
This isn't real.
And it was all just a dream.
I think you're in the hallucination, Tris.
20 minutes?
4 times faster than the average.
Bear?
Next time it'll be a lot easier.
4. Oh, awkward.
How'd you break the glass?
Just did it.
You just did it?
So 4 starts to get suspicious.
I think you're lying to me. Dauntless don't break the glass like that.
Whatever. Fifi. Remember that tattoo artist who 2 times before gave us a little bit more information but wasn't willing to tell us everything? Well, now she is willing to tell us everything for no reason at all.
My brother was like you. During the second stage, he got good really fast. And the next morning, we found his body at the bottom of the chasm.
So then, with this brand new information that she stumbled upon, she goes to see her brother, who has been brainwashed by his new faction to believe that they should be in charge.
I should be in charge. Certainly not abnegation. I need you to come with me.
Stop! Have a time!
But then she's stopped by this lady and is taken into custody. But fortunately, Katris isn't in trouble. That lady just wanted to stop her so she could give her even more information about the world that we're in. Yay for information attained through happenstance.
You're aware that abnegation is undermining the faction system. They're breaking laws, harboring divergence.
Hold on. She said that like divergent is just like a common word that people just throw around. But before, when we actually learned what divergent was, the lady acted like she wasn't even supposed to talk about it. I didn't even know they were allowed to go back and forth from one faction to the other. What are the rules here? I feel like maybe the book would have filled in a lot of this stuff, but movies shouldn't have homework. Anyway, when she gets back to her faction, she gets jumped. No!
Come on, get her over!
Oh no, it's that guy. We like him, right? Or do, I don't remember. Oh, but fortunately she's saved by the cute abusive guy. He takes her here to, I don't know. I don't know where this is, but they're alone, so great. Should we tell somebody about what just happened, or we're just gonna let that go?
You should lie down.
Stockholm Syndrome should be setting in soon.
I'll take the floor.
Aw, he agreed to sleep on the floor instead of in the bed with her. That must mean this movie is... Seriously, this whole next 10 minutes is just nothing but sexual tension of them wanting each other, but her resisting him, but still wanting to be close. And I think because if she kisses him, then she becomes a vampire or something, though I may be getting this mixed up with a different movie. What do they do? Like, where are they? What's happening right now? Come on, is somebody not going around asking, hey, where are these 2 people that are supposed to be here and they're not?
What's your tattoo?
You wanna see it?
It's amazing.
Yeah, it is amazing. It's amazing that in a society where you share quarters with so many other people, that you would have a tattoo that so boldly proclaims that you're a divergent.
I want to be brave, and I want to be selfless, intelligent, and honest, and kind. Well, I'm still working on kind.
Maybe I could practice on you. Ugh, kill yourself. I'm so confused. This is really the most forced love scene I've ever seen.
I don't want to go too fast.
I want to go fast!
But then, after, I don't know what they did, who can know, something terrible's happening.
Look, I think it's some kind of cognitive transmitter. You inject it like a serum. Supposed to make you more susceptible to suggestion. They could create an army.
Dun, dun, dun. But now it's time for her big test.
You're ready. You can do this.
So basically the way this test goes is they do the fear test thing in front of a bunch of different people, and everybody gets to watch on the screen. A little awkward. I take back the last thing I said. This is the most forced love scene I've seen in a while.
Stop, collaborate, and listen.
And it was all just a dream. But then she has to kill her parents. A lot of waking up from dreams in this movie. Fortunately, somehow, even after seeing all of that, she passes the test. Good job, Triss. We're so proud of you.
Congratulations. You should be first in line, but I'll make it easy for you.
I feel like she's getting way more injections than a human should take in a day.
Now you're really one of us.
Then the film turns into The Walking Dead. Basically, the injections that they were given have turned all of the non-divergents into the zombies controlled by the system. Oh no, they've all turned into Skrillex. So under the influence of the serum, Dauntless heads into abnegation to help Erudite take over the government. Thankfully, in America, we don't need some weird pseudoscience in order to get people to do terrible things. Here we have a draft. But Triss and Four, wait a minute, Triss and Four, like Trace and Quattro? Anyway, they put up a resistance. But then, they're immediately found out.
Drop your weapons.
So that didn't really fix anything.
I thought it was intellect I was sensing in you.
Maybe you're not as smart as you think you are.
Oh, kind of like this movie.
Why are you attacking all these innocent people?
We will restore the peace. You can get rid of her.
Dang, Mom. What?
You were Dauntless.
Yeah, you know, that reminds me that they didn't even explain how marriage works in this whole world. Apparently you can just leave your faction and go and marry somebody in a different faction. How do they even meet each other? I guess dating websites would be a little easier. I'm one of 5 types of people. There's so many aspects of this world I don't understand.
It all works.
Oh, I keep forgetting. So her and her mom have to run to safety.
We made it, Mother! Mother!
Then her mom dies. And you empathize, right? You care because you, well, I don't know.
Oh my God.
But who needs her mom when she can happen upon her dad? Fortunately, she has the training needed to get back into Dauntless, which apparently her brother doesn't because he's pointing that loaded gun right at his dad's face. That's actually a pretty funny part. Best friends! Then her dad sacrifices himself, of course. So she goes in alone and finds Four, but... Wait, hold on, I can't tell if you're under the influence of some chemical or if you're just being the way you always are.
He can't hear you.
Oh, hey, look, you're in the same situation you were in before your parents got killed. You really utilized their sacrifice, didn't you, Triss? If only the bad guy would explain her entire plan to us.
The brilliance of the faction system is that conformity to the faction removes the threat of anyone exercising their independent will. Divergents threaten that system.
Nonconformist, baby! Look, I'm all for nonconformity, but why does her nonconformity have to be attached to her DNA? Can't she just look around and say, well, this isn't right? Like I do with movies and economics. So then, in perfect Batman Begins style, she must fight the very person who trained her.
For stop!
Have a time!
And then, in Hunger Games style, she fights the system by threatening to kill herself. Dang it, I wasn't expecting that. Ow! Gotta hand it to her. Pretty shocking when you see images of what the military actually does, huh?
Maybe you're not quite as dauntless as you thought you were.
You're right. I'm not. I'm Divergent.
Hey! That's the nick.
Now shut it down and wipe The program.
Shut it down and what? So she shuts it down and everything's better.
Don't get me wrong, there is a certain beauty to your resistance.
Hey, excuse me, your whole family just died? Is it really the time for quips?
Fritz, we gotta go.
I got it!
I know you do.
Girl power, yeah!
My mom and dad died today. They're gone.
Which means I have no curfew.
I don't even know who I am anymore.
I know exactly who you are.
You're whoever I want you to be.
You sure about that?
I mean, have you been watching this movie? And it ends with the threat of a sequel.
Tomorrow we may have to fight again.
So buy your tickets for that now.
But for now, we'll ride the train to the end of the line. And then?
Probably make out.
We'll jump.
So that was Divergent 1, aka Divergent. Yeah, I think they made like 3 of them or something. Can't remember. I'm talking about the first one where she has long hair. So I feel like I would, in some ways, maybe agree with some of the ideas that are being presented in this film. I mean, I like whenever films explore dystopian futures and present a government that's overbearing and making its citizens defenseless, dependent, and ignorant. It's a fascinating exploration of ideas and concepts and a great place to do it in. However, that's not really what this movie's doing. Essentially, this film is just a paint-by-numbers teen drama with a dystopian future as the backdrop. And you might say, well, isn't that all teen post-apocalyptic world films? And I would say, no, it's not. The problem is Divergent, it leaves a lot of gaps and gives me like nothing to latch onto story-wise. Now, it could be that the concepts in the film are just too deep for me to understand. Or it could be that the concepts in the film make complete sense to the person who wrote it, or even to the readers of the book. And you know, maybe all of this will be explained a lot better in the films to come. But as a movie on its own, it just didn't seem to make any attempt to help bring me, the average viewer, in to the world and to help me understand. I feel like the movie is trying hard to sound deep, but leaving me unable to contemplate the intended message because I'm too distracted trying to navigate all the plot holes. And if you can't do that in your first movie, well then, you kinda have a problem. Especially since there's a lot of competition in the market for this genre, and other films in the genre have done a better job at doing this. Films like Hunger Games or Maze Runner, while still flawed, at least gave me an emotional connection to the main character, which drew me in and acted as a vehicle in order to guide me through and pull me into the world that they were presenting. It's funny because the movie so clearly wants to be Hunger Games, but fails to understand why Hunger Games worked in the first place. See, in Hunger Games, I understood the world pretty fast. I enjoyed hanging out with the characters. I wanted to see the character of Katniss succeed. Why? Because they established her character early on in one simple, heart-pulling scene. Immediately, you see Katniss make the choice to put herself before her sister, essentially sacrificing herself to save her sister's life. This not only makes you love her character, but it also makes you hate the system that has forced her to have to make this choice in the first place. On top of that, you find out that she's the very first person in this whole society to ever make this choice before. In that moment, you, the audience member, realize that she's the only good person who's been willing to stand up against this oppression. So right away, because of this, you love her, you believe in her, you hate the system, and you cheer for her to defy that system, destroy it, and free her countrymen in the same way she did for her sister. It's a powerful narrative, and it's very well planned out, and it understands the human experience, even when it's taking place in a different world. Now, in this movie, we never get that. There's no emotional catalyst that separates her from any other Divergent that's popped out over the years, other than the fact that the movie keeps on driving home that she's important. It just plays to the same Twilight mentality of a one-dimensional Mary Sue character that we want to see succeed because, well, why else would they make a movie about her? Well, why else indeed? In the end, it's certainly not the worst film that I've seen, but I think it might be the worst that I've seen in this genre. It's obvious that after the success of Hunger Games, it was given a big marketing campaign budget. Clearly, there wasn't a script treatment in that budget. It doesn't have relatable characters, it's not an interesting plot. It could have been good, but it wasn't, so who cares? I mean, obviously the filmmakers don't, and neither should you. Until next time, I'm Kevin. I have standards? There we go. Yes, I have standards, Hollywood. Good night. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching this episode of Say Movie Night. Kevin, What a blast I had putting this one together. Big shout out to Brendan Neely, who pledges $50 a month to my Patreon, patreon.com/SayGoodnightKev. And we have a brand new Patreon pledger. It is Westminster Effects. If you play guitar, electric guitar, most likely, I'm guessing, check out their effects pedals because they are pretty sweet. And they help make this show happen. And if you want to pledge to this show, then you can check out my Patreon. That's all I'm gonna say about Patreon today. Also, hey, don't forget to check out that Movie Facts episode about Divergent if you want to find out about Divergent, or if you want to hear me say other hilarious jokes about things. Subscribe to it, maybe. That's all I gotta say. Talk to you guys later. Good night.
It all works. Except for me.